Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. We call it that boat. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana.
$1 million fam shit,
Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. We call it that boat. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. Bitch, I'm from Louisiana. We call it that boat.
And how's it going, folks? Welcome to Off the Dome Sports. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Ryan Navarro. And what up, Ryan?
Kind of concerned, man. Kind of concerned.
Well, the good news is the Saints win their 6th straight, even though Breeze is injured. But we overcame a stumbling start against a injured Riddle team, but we overcame it. We were down 10-0 in the first quarter, but we overcame it. We scored 17 unanswered points. Breeze doesn't play in the second half due to his rib injury, which I got some news on that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But yeah, we came away with a win, 27-13. Probably one of the sloppiest games I've seen in a while from the Saints, especially when it comes in a win. This is probably one of the sloppier wins I've seen. Maybe not the sloppiest game, probably the sloppier wins I've seen. So that's probably more like it, to put the words in the right perspective. Give me your thoughts on the game, Ryan. What do you think about this 27-13 victory today?
Positives is the turnover ratio was 4-1. So that was really positive. At times, I mean, we did kind of look sharp at times, but not all the time. I don't know. I'm struggling to even come up with positives because it was just like that bad. I mean, at the end of the day, we got it done. You know, I said good teams find ways to win. Defense came up huge a ton today, but obviously, Lattimore didn't return today. Had a lot of injuries. So
we sure did. We had a couple injuries. We had Josh Hill, our tight end, out for concussion. Traquan Smith, who got hit really hard and knocked out cold. I'm hoping he comes back stronger than ever. But he was out with a concussion. Lattimore was out in the second half with an oblique injury. Obviously, Drew Brees out with a rib injury, which I just got some news tweeted by Nick Underhill, a Saints insider on Twitter and everything Saints you could think of. Nick Underhill is your guy. But he said, Sean Payton said Brees will get an MRI and X-ray. Brees told Payton he wasn't capable of playing in the second half. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Ryan, you do this type of stuff in college or learned about it. What do you think about it?
Yeah, anything ribs is bad news. I think he's going to be out for about 3 weeks.
3 weeks? You think he
mean,
broke it?
Your best case scenario is it's bruised and he's back in 2. But I don't foresee him playing next week. The rib is a tough injury. I mean, it really is.
Even if he bruises it, you think he can play on it with a bruise in the rib?
I mean, you get hit, you're going to get your offensive line has to be top notch. You're going to get hit in the midsection. Nope, you're out. I mean, it just
Wow.
hurts.
Well, we looked at Winston. Let's look at some Winston stats to see how he did in the second half. He came out what 6 for 6, didn't he? He
Yeah.
came out 6 for 6. Since then, he finished the game with six completions with 10 attempts, 63 yards of passing, 6.3 yards per pass, 0 touchdowns, 0 interception. He got sacked twice. He had a quarterback rating of 78.3. But you seen where Sean Payton does the little Taysom Hill things. When Winston was kind of getting in the flow, you see Taysom Hill getting in there for some reason, and on third down, and he just runs the ball like everybody expects him to do. So, I mean, Sean, if Drew Brees is going to be out for the next couple of games, he's going to have to really fix this problem. What do you think?
Yeah, you're going to have to get Taysom to throw the ball. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The only positive I think that comes out of this is I revert back to the Rams game of last year and notice how bad the offense looked when Teddy went down. And then all of a sudden, stuff started to come together. So I'm hoping that's the same way. Maybe Sean Payton puts Teddy in better situations. I mean, because it didn't look like Breeze told Sean Payton until like the beginning of the second half that he wasn't comfortable going in. So I'm sure that threw Sean Payton for a loop, and hopefully they get a good week going under Jameis, and they come out a little bit better than what they came out today. Obviously, Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray is going to get more of a role in the offense. Taysom Hill can't fumble, but also Taysom, you got to throw the ball. I mean, they're going to have to throw with Taysom.
And if Drew Brees was to be out a couple of weeks, I mean, I know you've seen Jameis Winston in for Drew Brees, but do you think they would roll with Jameis Winston if Drew Brees is out for the next upcoming games? Or do you think Taysom could be possibly the guy? Maybe they tweak some things in the offense and run with Taysom Hill. What do you think about that?
If they wanted to run with Taysom Hill, they would have did it today.
You think so? I don't know. I don't believe that, but we'll see. I mean, I think Latavius Murray is not being used enough. So if Drew Brees was to miss a couple games, like you just said, Ryan, I think you're going to see the ball to Latavius Murray and Kamara in the rushing attack a lot more. Latavius Murray had 9 carries for 57 yards today, and I don't understand why we didn't use him, especially when in the second half. When we probably should have tried to control the time of session a little bit more. But, this is a game where special teams and defense bailed us out today. We got extremely beat up. It just was not a pretty win. I knew this was going to be that type of game because the 49ers are missing like half their squad. I knew it was going to be a tough game. Kyle Shanahan always finds some ways to draw some things on us. I think the only problem with the 49ers could have won this game. If it wasn't for the turnovers, the 49ers could have won this game. And Mullins is no slouch. He struggled in the second half. He's no slouch. He can get it done. And I just feel like, if Shanahan would have get the offense to push the tempo a little bit more, I think the 49ers would have won because I just feel like the 49ers were just too slow on offense, and that led to all these turnovers.
They could have been aggressive.
Oh yeah, I think they could have went super aggressive, like you seen when they put C.J. Beathard in just to make that deep pass. I think it was Richie James, the wide receiver. I mean, he burnt Marcus Williams and I think it was PJ also on him. He burnt him. If that wasn't such a shitty throw, that would have been touchdown. So you probably would have seen a different game. So, I mean, we just got very lucky. Win's a win. I'll take it. Sloppy win or not, win's a win. We're still on top of the division. Buccaneers look good today. So I mean, we just got to keep winning. We cannot lose.
Buccaneers look good in the second half.
Yeah. I don't know what was up with the Panthers in the second half, man. I watched that game, and I think when Teddy kind of went down, he was getting hit a lot, and that's when things went downhill for the Panthers.
Yeah.
But you look at it, yeah.
But I think that since Seattle lost, I think we go number 2 in the NFC.
We're first, bro.
No, because Seattle lost. So I believe that makes us number 2 because the only reason we were number 1 is because it was a 3-way tie for first.
You sure about that?
Now since Seattle lost, it's just us and Green Bay has the tiebreaker.
Yeah, Seattle played the Packers?
Wait, what?
Yeah, you're right. We are second now.
Yeah, because Seattle was the only thing keeping us first.
Did Seattle play the Packers or something?
No, that's because when there's a 3-way tie, it goes to the highest conference record, which was the Saints, because the only loss in the NFC was to the Packers, and the Packers had 2 NFC losses, and so did the Seahawks.
All right, okay. Well, we're second in the NFC now. We pretty much control our own destiny.
Yeah.
So we just got to keep winning. We play Atlanta next week. We go to Atlanta, so that starts the road game stretch.
In the dome.
In the dome. Then we start the road game stretch.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's back and forth after that. I believe so. I believe it's back and forth.
We play the Falcons next week in the dome. At Broncos, at Falcons, at Eagles. Then we have Chiefs at the dome. So I mean, it's gonna be tough, man. Just gotta keep it on. Just keep up the pace. Sean Payton's got to do a better job of play calling, especially now that he might have to lean on Winston and Taysom Hill. If Drew Brees were to miss some time, he's getting the MRI and X-ray. So it's going to be an interesting next few weeks. This is going to be tough. We really got banged up. I don't know what we're going to do.
I mean, you're going to have to rely on defense and their ability to get turnovers. That's going to be the main thing is defense. I mean, it's kind of like what happened last year when Teddy went out. You remember that Seahawks game where it was nothing but defense and special teams that scored? That's what it's going to have to be like.
Right, and everybody's going to have to step their game up. Offensive line's going to have to get better. I think Cesar Ruiz gave up 2 sacks today, the Rook. Both of them on Jameis Winston. But I think Pete came back in, and Pete actually has been playing well ever since he came back. So that's been a bright spot. So the O-line's got to play better. Defense is going to have to step it up. We're going to have to run the ball more often. And honestly, like I don't understand why Sean Payton hasn't been doing this more often, running the ball. Run the ball, control the time of possession, use the run to set up the pass. We've been saying this every week, So
yeah, I mean, I don't really know what's up with that. At times, I remember a few years ago, it was like when we had Darren Sproles and had absolutely no run game. And Drew for 5,400 yards that one year. Everybody was like, "Oh, the Saints' run is throwing screen passes." So, I mean, even today, they weren't putting Kamara in good spots at the beginning of the game. It was rough watching the beginning of the game just because they weren't putting anyone really in good spots. Drew seemed out of sync for the first really 2 possessions of the game.
Well, you gotta give San Francisco credit in the first half. They had a pretty good defensive game plan throughout the whole game. I mean, I feel like they played us pretty damn well, better than anybody has all year, in my opinion. So Drew was only of 8 of 13 passes for 76 yards, and he had a touchdown in the first half. We only ran 21 plays in the first half, only 90 yards at the half, total yards. So
I
the
mean,
49ers defense
the
shut us
two
down.
touchdowns were set up by short fields. So I mean,
Exactly. So I mean, like, 49ers defense shut us down today, and they absolutely did. So if it wasn't for the turnovers, and 2 of them were special team turnovers. So special teams has been coming up big for a couple of games this year.
yeah, I mean, Deontay Harris taking a ball at the helmet though was
He muffed 2
very.
punts today.
Yeah, he muffed two. So hopefully that gets addressed. But he
Yeah,
did
the
have that one big
first.
return.
Yep. Well, the first one was kind of a fluke. It kind of hit his face mask. Face mask. The Superdome lights are kind of bright as hell, so I can understand it. So, but the second one, he just got hit and he just coughed up the ball like nobody's business. And then he had that big return. It was before his second fumble, or his second muff. He had that big return. I guess that makes up for everything. But those things we have to clean up. Better. We just can't have turnovers like that. We're gonna have to start playing clean football. It's getting to that point of the year, December time. Everybody's starting to, you know, peel out. You're seeing some teams fall, so we're just gonna have to get a little bit more serious.
Yeah. Man, did you see the end of that Cardinals Bills game?
Yeah, I just saw the notification where DeAndre Hopkins caught a Hail Mary, Hail Mary, not Hail Mary.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, I mean, going forward, I mean, next week isn't a gimme against Atlanta. It's
Oh
really
no.
not because Atlanta's always going to come play against us, and I think Atlanta's out trying to prove themselves that they don't really suck as bad as their record says.
Did they have
So
a bye this week?
yeah, I think so. So I think they're coming off a bye.
Wow.
So I
Yeah.
mean, potentially, I mean, Sean Payne's going to come up with a really good game plan for offense, or else the Saints are going to. I think it's potentially going to be. I hate saying trap games. I really do because I don't think there's no such thing as a trap game when you're a home team, but essentially it's going to be a difficult game.
Today was a trap game.
I,
Uh,
I can't say there's trap games when you're playing at home. Now, if you're going on the road, yeah, then there's trap games. I don't think they're trap games when you're home.
well, it is what it is. You seen it last year. The Falcons, they whooped their ass. It was after our bye. We had a bye, and then we played them, and then they whooped their ass at home. So it could be a repeat of last year. We'll see. I don't know. The Falcons are on a hot streak. I think they're 3-1 since they switched coaches.
No,
Raheem Morris. They
no,
only lost once since they switched coaches.
I can swear they lost more than that, but
Uh-uh.
I don't
They
keep up
uh
with Atlanta.
they've been on fire. I believe they're like 3-6 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's never an easy playing Atlanta. And Atlanta's kind of a scrappy team, but fortunately for us, I think Calvin Ridley's still going to be out, so that takes a little bit of the pressure off the defense. Obviously, you got to hold Todd Gurley accountable. But, I mean, outside of that, I mean, play good, solid defense. Hopefully, you come out with. You got to get one or two um, turnovers now. I mean, pretty much every game now, you're going to get one or two turnovers. It's with Drew Brees out.
Right. Well, I would tell you 2 players or a couple players that actually came up big today, mostly on the defense side of the ball and special teams. Chauncey Gardner Johnson, man, that man was all over the field. I'm gonna pull out his stats, but it was just one point where people were just not picking him up at the line of scrimmage, and he would just run free to the quarterback. And I'm pretty sure he did that like 3 times in a row. It was crazy. He was just all over the field making tackles. And I say why we only running 2 linebackers, but essentially he is our third linebacker. It's kind of like a hybrid role. He plays nickel and then if you watch him, he'll switch over to like the linebacker position, which is weird. He'll either go nickel or linebacker position, and then when he goes nickel, then you have that threat of blitzing like he did a couple times today. He got his first career sack today, so he was
Yeah.
just all over the place. He was huge. David Automata just plugging the holes. I honestly think Onyemata plays better when Rankins is not on this on the field with him. So I think it opens up more opportunities for him to clog up running lanes and get pass rush. But he's mostly a run stuffer, which he does a lot better when Rankins. I don't know why, but he does a lot better when Rankins is not on the field with him. When it comes to run stuffing, I don't know if he likes to play a certain side or what, but he definitely plays better without rankings. He did well today. And Patrick Robinson did well this when he stepped in when Lattimore didn't play. He had an interception.
Great play.
It was a great play. That showed his veteranness because you don't see young corners doing that. He was playing uh, where he wouldn't get beat. If you wanna throw a short pass and complete, yeah, I'll give you that. But I'm not gonna let you beat me, and that's what he did on that interception. So it was awesome coverage. It was a smart. So
Malcolm Jenkins been coming around the past 2 weeks. Had an interception today.
He sure did.
But you talk about why we only have running 2 linebackers. How many linebackers do we have?
Well, we just got Quan Alexander, which he played majority of the game. I hardly seen Anzalone today.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see Anzalone. I mean, other than that, you got Zach Bond, who I haven't seen outside of special teams.
But you get Quan, so I figured they would run more 3 linebacker sets. But I honestly don't think it's matter because, like I said, you got Chauncey Gardner. Basically, he's your 3rd linebacker, and obviously he's your nickel. So I think it's good for right now. I guess you are right. I mean, that's why we kind of don't have a lot of linebackers to begin with on the roster because I think Dennis Allen likes just having 2 linebackers. So because Jenkins and you got Jenkins and Charger Gardner Johnson, I guess that kind of makes sense because you get more versatile with them too. So they're basically your 3rd linebacker.
Yeah. So, like I said, when you sent me that text during the game, I was like, well, who else we got to put in? I mean, we got Anzalone, but I mean, if one of them gets hurt, I mean, Zach Bond, he's mostly a coverage linebacker. He's not really a guy who you're going to send at the quarterback. So, and again, he's a rookie. So,
did you see that hit he put on Jerick McKinnon?
That was a fantastic hit. He just can't have no freaking leashed on that man.
I tell you what.
This, and I tweeted it out during the game. If you're an NFL ref and this guy's laying on the floor, looks like he's unconscious, and you see that he just got drilled in the head.
Yeah, that definitely should have been
penalty. Why don't you call it? In college, that's a reviewable play. Why isn't that a reviewable play in the NFL? I mean, Tre'Quan Smith is going to be out 2-3 weeks because his concussion is going to be so bad. Why can't that be called? You see this little petty crap. I was watching the Carolina game, illegal hands to the face all the dang time, but you miss someone about getting killed.
Right.
It's happening too often in NFL.
Yeah, I mean the refs were kind of questionable in today's game. They were even questionable calling against the 49ers, like they hit against Drew Brees. I'm glad they called it for our sake, but I thought it was a bad call. That shouldn't have been a penalty. I don't know what that big guy was supposed to do, So, but it's stuff like that.
The roughing the passer stuff is getting out of hand. I mean, you got 1 step, really. I mean, used to they give you 2. I mean, if you put all your weight on them, if you hit above a certain point, if you hit below a certain point on the quarterback, I mean, they're protected. And it's all because of Cam Newton, of course. But it's getting kind of out of hand, and yet someone's laying on the floor unconscious, and no flag. And it's just stuff like that really frustrates me.
I agree. And I certainly agree. What do you think about before early this morning before the game? The Saints might lose a draft pick because of the locker room celebration we had last week, and none of us was wearing masks.
The Saints are going to appeal that because the Broncos also posted a video.
And get this, it wasn't just the Broncos. Broncos was back in back about 2 weeks ago. The Chiefs and it was another team had tweeted on their page, their Twitter feed, of them celebrating the same week. And you pick us out because we went viral? I mean,
fucking Tom Brady. That's the only logical reason, because we beat the shit out of Tom Brady.
And I was trying to tell my JDF boys, and they don't get it. Like they don't really get because they're not, they're not Saints fans. They're not even around the Saints, so they don't get it. They're all from the north. I was trying to tell them like they obviously handpicked the Saints on this one. They didn't mention any other team in the locker room celebration. They picked us out. They announced it on game day. You cannot tell me they did not do this on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, but it looks like they're losing a 6th-round pick. When was the last time the Saints drafted someone in the 6th round? It's been a hot. So I'm sure Mickey Loomis is sitting back in his chair right now going, I never used that anyway, so I usually trade that. So that saves me the hassle of trying to find a trade for a 6th-round pick.
I don't think they can even do that to us, because if they do that to us, they got to do that to the Chiefs, and they got to do it to the other teams that posted celebration videos. Yeah, that's not fair.
There's 4 teams in total.
What? I get, and I get the rules.
After the Bucks game, because after who did we play before the Bucks? I totally forgot.
Before the Bucks? Oh, yeah. The Bears.
The Bears game, we
had a celebration.
And it was posted on social media. So why is it all of a sudden an issue after we beat the Bucks, but it's not an issue after we beat the Bears?
That's a great point. I didn't even realize that.
Somebody's complaining, and someone is, they're pinpointing out the Saints, because I don't know why we developed this bad boys of football kind of mindset, but really, I mean, there's 4 other teams that are out here celebrating just like we were, but it's only a problem because we beat Tom Brady. I mean, did you see Denver's celebration? They had everyone in the locker room. I mean, it was all 53, every single coach, every single trainer in there dancing. I mean, it wasn't like the Saints where everyone was kind of just spread out except for 4 people. Everybody was in a group in Denver. So you know what? If they want to take that, they want to take that. I see the Saints putting an appeal in, and I want to see them cite other teams. And if other teams don't get in trouble, that's an easy lawsuit. So
I certainly agree. Like, that's just, it's kind of bullshit. And then Saints Twitter was livid today.
I haven't looked much at Twitter. I just saw it this morning, and I'm just like, it's just stupid. It's petty. It really is just the NFL being absolutely petty.
It's just frustrating. That's what it is. Why do we always have to be the team the NFL has to make an example of? Why do we have to be that team? I just don't understand. What did
we do to piss off Goodell? Bounty Gate? Banned him from the Superdome? I mean, shit, what do you expect?
I just don't get it. I mean, all the fucking Super Bowls we host in New Orleans, you figured the NFL would like New Orleans. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. the Saints is good for the NFL. I just think the NFL is not doing themselves a favor. Like they really should support the Saints because like I just don't get it.
Yeah,
Like they
but
don't.
you have the same. It's becoming the same example as the NBA does. They just stop giving a shit about the small market teams, and you know, it's going to. I hate to say it, but you're going to piss off all the small market teams, and they're just going to develop their own fucking league.
That could possibly happen. I don't know. That would have to take a lot. But I mean, I understand where you're coming from because like it's just crazy how much disrespect we get from the league. It's not even funny. I just the bounty gate was ridiculous. I
I
just
thought
don't know.
Javon Williams didn't get enough punishment for what he did. You know, Mason. Who's who was that guy that freaking beat up Mason Rudolph? I remember it. Miles.
Miles Garrett.
I mean, that's how we was out for the whole season. And you're telling me Javon Williams got 2 games for just coming up randomly to Chauncey Gardner Johnson and putting up and him in the helmet? I mean, I guess he has a couple broken fingers. That's probably enough punishment for him. But still, I mean, it's uneven. It really is. I mean, I understand hitting someone with a helmet is a lot different than punching someone in their helmet, but you know, they're both unwarranted.
Well, it starts with the bounty gate. Like why do we like understand if you're gonna punish us, but why do you have to do it like you did it? You had the Patriots literally cheating the way they do. They literally cheating, getting plays from other people's playbooks, knowing exactly what they're gonna fucking call. You have them deflating balls as well, and they get left off the hook just like that. Oh, we'll take a 7th round pick for what you did. Slap on the wrist. Man, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? And
How
you
many
come back.
Belichick been suspended?
0.
0. I mean, Sean Payton got suspended for half a year.
And get this. The report just came back like last year or a year before that, where James Harrison, the Steelers linebacker, former Steelers linebacker, was also being talked like he was a part of a bounty gate in Pittsburgh, and they didn't even look into that. Like, it's pitiful.
You know,
Like,
and I hate. I mean, I'm just gonna revert back to, you know, obviously the year the Super Bowl was thrown away from us and stuff like that. But I hate when the NFL comes out later and goes, "Sorry for that. We missed the call." You know, we don't want to hear that bullshit. You know, and if it was so, in a lot of this is vital. So if it's you have rules in there, but you only enforce them. But let's say if that happens to the Patriots, you probably stop the game right there, throw the flag, and you know, or you go back and replay the game. You know, so the Saints. I don't know why they developed, how they got the bad boys of the NFL, but it's starting to get annoying.
and the PI call is another thing. Like you just said, like it's. I believe it was the second year the Rams were in LA that year. So I mean, they just came off a playoff performance the year before. You give us 3 referees that live in LA. One of them used to play for the LA Rams. This is
You
not
know what?
St. Louis
They play
Rams.
for the Falcons.
One of them played for the Falcons. I didn't even know that. So I mean, and they don't call that pass interference. And people say, well, even they did call it. Doesn't mean y'all would win. if that PI would have been called, we would have ran down the clock and we would have kicked a field goal or scored a touchdown. Game over. Simple as that. Simple as that. That play not being called was an absolute momentum breaker. We were shocked that was not called. We go in overtime and we look flat. And obviously Drew throws that duck interception and game over after that, you know? So I mean, I hate bringing up the past, but it's just really frustrating and I hate bringing up the past because it's like it's hard not to when we repeatedly
that was
getting
the NFL
fucked.
trying to get people interested in football in LA again.
Exactly.
But regarding today, like, I mean, you called the helmet to helmet on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but you don't see the guy literally lowering his shoulder into Traquan Smith. It's inexcusable in a sense because you got 3 of them out there, and at least 2 of them are in the backfield. I mean, in that part of the field. So it's really inexcusable to miss that.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think we did score on that drive. I think we did score a touchdown on that drive. But at the same time, it's unfortunate that, the person who did it is going to come off scot-free. I mean, they'll probably give him a fine later, but, not setting examples.
Well, I'm pretty much done talking about the Saints. Let's actually talk about some Pelicans. Monday, tomorrow is when NBA teams can start wheeling and dealing. The Lakers already pretty much have a deal in place. They're getting Dennis Schroeder from the OKC Thunder. I'm pretty sure they're trading their 28th overall pick in Danny Green. Drew Holiday.
Capital for 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, and then I'm hearing the Suns getting CP3 is pretty much a done deal. CP3 I'm hearing
around like a joint, man.
Yeah, I just don't see where the Suns get. I mean, they're gonna get better. They're gonna be a top 6, top 5 team with CP3, but it's not gonna get them. It's not gonna be enough to get past the second round. You're gonna play the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Mavericks. Gonna get the Western Conference is gonna be one big crapshoot. It's gonna be how it was a couple years ago when the Pelicans made the playoffs and swept Portland. It might take 50 wins. Well, it's a shortened season, but whatever 50 wins would be.
You're going to have to be about 550.
Yeah. It's a 72 game season, so I don't know what the 50 games would be equivalent to in a 72 game season. Let's just say 50 games. Well, it would probably take 50 games to get into the playoffs.
50 and 22? No, it's going to be about 40, and it's going to be about 42.
Right.
30.
Okay.
I mean, maybe a little bit less, but it's going to be an interesting season. I'm eager to know what the Pelicans are doing.
Yeah, it's starting to heat up.
At first, you hear all the rumors come out, and David Griffin says, nah, none is happening. And then he leaks a rumor. Himself told Mark Stein about a rumor. So what is even going on? I mean, I don't know what David Griffin is he telling the truth to Drew? What exactly is he even telling Drew? And I feel like he's smart enough to know a trade that's going to make us better. And I'm just hoping he doesn't go to the Atlanta Hawks and say, hey, let's make a deal.
I mean, I honestly think, and I don't think Drew is even telling them where he wants to go. I think he just, it's whatever. I think if he stays in New Orleans, he stays in New Orleans. If he goes to a other team, he goes to other team. I don't think he really cares. I think he just wants to win, and that's all that matters. I think he feels like he can win in New Orleans, but obviously I don't think he feels that he can win a championship. Obviously, that's going to take a while. So, but I think a trade's definitely going to happen either late tonight. You might see a pre-trade where they have it pretty much agreed upon, but it won't be official till tomorrow. I think it was 4:00 Eastern time is when they can officially start it. So I think a deal's going to get done either tonight or tomorrow night, because it just there's a bidding war going on. I've seen where the Nuggets are looking to trade into the top 10, and they're looking to trade for a top 10 pick, package that up with Bobo and some other Nuggets player for Drew. You're seeing the Celtics with Kemba Walker. So let me ask you about this. If we were doing a 3-team trade, it was going to be, I seen it where it was the Pelicans, Celtics, Pacers. We get Kimba, obviously. What do you think about that?
No.
You don't like it? Nope.
I mean, you hire Sam Van Gundy. Sam Van Gundy says Lonzo Ball is this guy. Are you going to throw Lonzo Ball at the 2? I don't see it. And what does Kimba make this team better? If we're trying to go younger, then why do we get a Kimba Walker who has had knee problems too? So I didn't like that deal. I think if you're going to get anybody from the Celtics, you have to either get Jaylen Brown or Marcus Smart.
I love Kimba Walker, but I don't love his contract. But the thing is, I feel like Lonzo could play the 2. I think he would be actually better off ball than he is on ball because you know what? The problem with him being on ball, dribbling the ball up, the thing is, he's too predictable because he doesn't like to drive in. He needs to work on that. He needs to work on his free throw shooting. You know, he's never going to be a threat with the ball in his hands if he doesn't work on that. He's just not. So he's probably better off being an off-ball offensive player. Let him. He's good at catch and shooting. I believe he shot like 40% on catch and shoot threes this year. So it's just where he starts to try to step back jumpers when he starts to get a little shitty. But for the most part, he's actually a good 3-point shooter, catch and shoot, spot up. And he obviously can pass the ball. So if he does get it around the perimeter, he can find a way just to maneuver it back. And and obviously he's big enough to guard the 2 spot. He's 6'6". He's pretty long. I think that might be the way to go. I don't know about Kimba though. This contract is just crazy. He's getting paid what, $34 million this year. So
53s. But I mean,
but he's a guy that can come in right away and run the offense.
Essentially, you turn Lonzo Ball and his great passing ability into Danny Green. I mean, essentially, if you draw him at the 2, that's what you're going to do. So that's why I'm kind of like, no, not moving to the 2. I mean, there's talk. David Griffin at the end of last year was talking like he wanted Brandon Ingram to play the 2, which makes it even more interesting because, I mean, Brandon Ingram's 6'8", 6'9", playing 2 guard. Then where you put Zion? You put Zion at the 4. You put Zion at the 3. Can Zion go out and be able to be a good playmaker, actually be able to dribble and not turn it over? So, I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions, and they'll probably get answered sometime this week because obviously trades open up in the drafts Wednesday. So,
well, Stan Van Gundy actually wants Brandon Ingram to be more of a point forward. He's actually came out and said that as well. So, I mean, you might see Brandon Ingram with the ball in his hands more often than Lonzo this year, no matter who's our point guard, either if it's Lonzo, Kimba, or whoever the hell it is. I think you're going to see Lonzo play off ball, period. I honestly do think that. Unless it's a transition.
See, I feel like that just, like I said, you're turning Lonzo Ball into Danny Green. I just don't. I don't like that.
It's not Danny Green of now. You're getting a Danny Green that can guard best of the best at the 2 spot. And you're getting a guy who's a pretty good 3-point shooter. It's not like you're getting Danny Green now. You're getting the elite Danny Green. Danny Green was pretty good. He was pretty vital to them Spurs. He was vital with the Raptors. Lonzo, I can tell you now, is not going to be your third guy. You're going to have to find a third guy, that third star. Lonzo's not going to be it. I just don't think he will be. I think you might as well just let him settle and let him do what he does best.
So who you start to do, Lonzo or JJ?
You're gonna have to start them both if you don't get another point guard, and then You're gonna have Ingram play more point. Probably gonna be half and half. Lonzo Ingram instead of just Lonzo.
I mean,
So
and hell, we haven't even talked about what are the Pels going to do about center. I mean, are they going to re-sign Derek Favors? Are they going to let him walk? Are they going to put Jackson Hayes? Are they going to go get Ball? I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there too.
I think the intention is to let Derek Favors walk. But if he wants to come back on a cheap deal, he'll come back. I think it's the same thing with Etwan Moore. If he wants to come back on a veteran deal, we'll most likely re-sign him back. And it's the same thing with Keeney Hustle. These are just guys to bring back just to fill out depth. These are not gonna guys like if you bring them back. I'm not sure they're gonna be regular rotational guys anymore.
Hey, did you see Samuel's tweet this morning about like how David Griffin's a bad GM because he drafted Null and Jackson Hayes, let Christian Wood walk. It was like a bunch of other like dumb stuff that I was like, well, it makes sense for the future. But like Samuel's like one of those. I feel like he's one of those Bills fans that got let down by the fact that Griffin like made a promise and like it was a half-ass promise. It wasn't a full promise about making the playoffs. So
And we're gonna get him on the show one day. I've been talking to him lately. We're gonna get him on the show. We're gonna give him his point of view so we can get some debate going on. But yeah, he's sort of an outsider when it comes to the Pelicans. He's a brand new Pelicans fan. I don't think he really got the experience Dell Demps and what he has done. I think David Griffin has done light years. I think he's already done better work than what Dell Demps has done. Dell Demps put us in a hole. It's kind of like um, I'm not even gonna go there, but it took a lot to get out of that hole. And if I'll be honest with you, if we didn't land that overall pick last year, I don't think we were probably still in the hole because that's how bad we were in the hole. We don't get Zion. I don't know, man. That changes a whole different perspective.
yeah, I mean there was talent in that draft, but obviously getting Zion as a whole, gives you a little bit more insight going forward towards the future. Gets a little bit more excitement. Because honestly, you don't get that number one draft pick, you may not be having a team in New Orleans. So Zion getting that draft pick obviously kind of changed the Pels getting number one kind of changed the trajectory of the franchise.
It kind of did. As you seen, and we actually got a comment, two comments. Oh, from Kevin. Michael Thomas's ass. Hopkins is king. Yeah, recency bias. He called me hot. Sean is so hot. Okay. Yeah, I know. Heart eyes. Interesting.
And this guy, oh, Jordan guy's coming after you.
Hey man, Kevin's cool, man. So I guess it's all right. Oh man, but
Michael Thomas is getting back into the swing of things, and
he's being a troll.
Yeah, I can't lie. That Hail Mary, that catch by Hopkins was pretty damn good.
Don't give him that advantage. He's gonna use that against you.
What? Because he made one good catch. Look, man, freaking Jordan Reed made a great catch today. So man,
honestly,
I wish they would have played tighter defense today, man. The Saints play some pretty loose defense and kind of pissed me off.
I'll be honest with you. You know who's been the best wide receiver in football this year, and nobody's even talking about it, and it's not DeAndre Hopkins.
Devontae Adams?
Nope.
Who?
Stephon Diggs.
Yes, that man's been great for Buffalo.
He absolutely, in my opinion, even though they lost today, has transformed that offense. I think he made Josh Allen a better quarterback this year. You take Devontae Adams off the Packers, I think Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if I can say the same about Kyle Murray. Even though he's been balling out, I don't think he would be as good as a passer if it wasn't for Hopkins on that team. But Stephon Diggs, I feel like even though nobody's talking about him, he's been secretly the best wide receiver in football. And I want to get something else off my chest. Alvin Kamara should definitely be in the MVP race. I just
Definitely.
don't.
If McCaffrey, I mean, if McCaffrey would have won last year, if the Panthers were a winning team. So I mean, Kamara's putting up McCaffrey numbers. So
How many
he has
touchdowns
to,
he has? He has
he has
like
to be in the
10 or
conversation.
11 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, he had 3 today.
Jesus.
So I mean, he has to be in the conversation. So yeah, Alvin Kamara definitely should be in the MVP race. And I mean, you even tweeted out one time that Drew Brees should be in the MVP race, which probably got a lot of hate. But I mean, if you look, he had weeks where he had 1 week where his best receiver was
I only said that. I only said
DeAndre
that.
Harris.
I only said that because people are putting Tom Brady in the MVP race, and I'm like, if you're gonna put Tom Brady in the MVP race, Drew Brees has to be in there too because there's nothing that Tom Brady has done better than Drew Brees this year.
Nope.
So
Other than being the Raiders, that's pretty much the only thing. We beat the Raiders and the Packers.
I think it was proven last week, So who's the better team and who's the better quarterback?
Play that kind of defense today, man. Play that super tight coverage. I think they want to do wonders.
Well,
yeah,
we'll see how it goes against the Falcons next week.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Your UL Raging Cajuns being ranked 24th, or
about time they won a game by more than one score yesterday. I can tell you that much. You know, prior to yesterday, their largest margin of victory was against Iowa State.
Yeah.
But I'm just super eager about the Pelicans, man. You know, you got the head coach. They got to make another hire. They don't have an associate head coach yet. So everybody's waiting for that now because they let Chris Finch walk to the Raptors. So
and Will Weaver, I believe he went to Houston.
yeah. So I do think them bringing in Corey Brewer, I thought that was a good idea. Kind of a journeyman in the league, but you know, the scrappy players who they're the kind of guys who actually know the game really well. So I thought that was really good. Hire, just waiting to see how shaken up this team's going to get.
It's only just the beginning, and I think we're gonna get some news, some Pelican news, probably about Drew Holiday tomorrow. If that happens, you able to go live tomorrow night, Ryan?
Maybe, not sure.
We'll see about it. I know I work in the morning, but we'll see about it. If Drew Holiday does get traded, we'll try our best to get our coverage on that. I think that just about does it on Off the Dome Sports. I want to get one more thing off my chest. Liberty is the best non-power conference team in college football.
Bullshit.
And I'm even putting
Cincinnati.
Huh? Cincinnati. No, I'll put them over Cincinnati.
You're lying out your ass.
Nope. Liberty.
They played Western Carolina yesterday. Are you judging because they beat Western Carolina by 5 scores? Western Carolina hasn't played a game.
They also beat Virginia Tech.
So what? What's Virginia Tech been in?
Saying.
Cincinnati's going out here beating teams they're supposed to and beating them like they're supposed to.
They're beating their own conference?
Their conference is going to be better than anything Liberty has.
I mean, Liberty's actually played outside that conference. So,
well,
I mean...
independent.
I thought they were at Conference USA.
No, they're independent.
So they're not even a... Well, they don't even count then, huh?
I mean... They're just
because I don't.
Independent. I mean, technically,
I don't count BYU as a non-conference because they're actually like, if they would go undefeated, I believe they probably would make the playoffs. I don't really count them.
Well, BYU has the name. That's the
It's,
difference. BYU,
exactly.
BYU's independent too.
Right.
I mean, Liberty's kind of like your New Mexico State independent. You know, they probably should be in like a Conference USA or Fun Belt, but they're independent. So
didn't UL play Liberty last year?
they spanked their ass.
Well, I doubt they would spank their ass this year. Hugh Freeze got them boys playing.
Well, yeah, Hugh Freeze. He actually coached that game
in the box. Yeah.
But I mean, he used to be at Ole Miss, so I mean, he does have the experience playing at the top level of football. But I mean, Cincinnati and BYU both look like good teams right now. Liberty just don't have the name to get up in there.
And I think that's where people are going wrong because I've watched Liberty play a full game, and I watched that West Virginia game, not West Virginia, Virginia Tech game. They impressed me. They barely won, but they impressed me. I'm telling you, they're the best.
Virginia Tech's probably just as good as Iowa State. Probably worse than Iowa State.
I would say probably worse because Iowa State's ranked.
Yeah. So I mean,
which is crazy. They're ranked over UL, a team they lost it.
Yeah.
But which I don't, just because
I wouldn't mind seeing Liberty play Coastal Carolina because I think Coastal Carolina is a lot better than what people are giving them credit to.
What about Marshall?
Marshall's also. I mean, I said at the beginning of the year, I said it's going to be the year of the group of 5 teams. So I mean, since these schools, some of them are banking off of more TV coverage than normal, and I think this might change college football a little bit going forward. But Marshall's also a pretty good football team. I wouldn't mind seeing a group of 5 championship. I mean, that would probably be entertaining this year.
They really need to do that for now on because I'm tired of these stupid ass bowl games. Another thing I want to get off my chest: Notre Dame's quarterback, Ian Book, doesn't get enough respect. He does not. The boy can play. I don't know if y'all watch Notre Dame football.
Your transfer portal podcast would probably disagree with you.
They do. I've been talking to Walt, and he doesn't.
They were talking some crap on Book yesterday, but yeah, I mean, look, you're going to go in and beat Clemson, who, I mean, even though they got embarrassed by LSU last year, I mean, but they've been pretty much the team to beat, them or Alabama, for the past few years. You go in and beat them, and they knew what they had coming at them. Look, you deserve credit.
I got another thing. People say, well, if Trevor Lawrence plays the game, it might have gone the other way. I disagree. I think this BJ guy is just as talented as Trevor Lawrence. He's really good. I don't think he's as good as Trevor Lawrence just yet, but he's just as talented. I don't think Trevor Lawrence would have made a difference in that game. So I think Notre Dame was just the better team that night.
Yeah, I mean, Clemson struggled against Boston College, and then people were looking at Notre Dame yesterday, beating Boston College by 2 or 3 scores, and they're like, oh, that wasn't that great. And it's like, well, Clemson only beat them by 1, so.
Right. So, well, we'll see how everything plays out.
Team in college football, probably hands down. I mean, we'll see when.
You said Alabama?
Yeah. We'll see when the time comes. But Ohio State, obviously, they're going to have to play some games for anyone to really know how real they are. So,
Kyle Trask is a poor man's Joe Burrow. But he's good. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a good way.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that wraps up the show. Saints win 27-13. Drew Holiday might get traded. Catch us next time. My name is Sean. His name is Ryan. And we'll catch y'all next time.
Hands.
Weird.